Hey beauties, welcome to the Clean Beauty Podcast. Did you know that unlike most everything else in America, cosmetics are not regulated? This means that corporations can use thousands of potentially harmful ingredients that I personally know can cause health problems. I'm your host, Cassandra McClure. I've been in the beauty business for over 10 years as a celebrity makeup artist that advocates for safer and more sustainable cosmetics. Join me each week for important news, exclusive interviews, and more on the Clean Beauty Revolution. This episode is proudly sponsored by lashbinder.com, a patent-pending tool that I developed to be the quickest, easiest, and safest way to apply lashes on yourself and clients. If you've ever tried applying lashes, you either use your fingers, which is pretty hard to master, a pair of tweezers, which can be super scary, or you were lucky enough to have a friend like me help you. Those days are long gone with Lashbinder, an applicator that'll have you looking fabulous in under a minute. Are you ready to say goodbye to expensive, damaging, and time-consuming lash extensions or hours spent in the mirror applying makeup? Don't you wish you could apply lashes easy and just go? Let your skin glow and your confidence skyrocket with the perfect pair of lashes applied with Lashbinder. Lashbinder is truly the lash tool you'll ever need. Be the first to get your hands on one today, exclusively at lashbinder.com. Be sure to find us on Instagram at lashbinder, LASHBINDER. Links in the show notes. Happy lashing! I want to touch on a subject that was brought up in the Clean Beauty Tribe group. This group is a private group on Facebook. It's free for anyone to join. And it's really all about having conversations about clean beauty. We talk about this podcast. There's a lot of conversations going on in there, pictures being shared, questions being asked, and it's really a great place for all the beauties in the world to come together and connect. So one of the things I've been doing is asking other artists and friends what they want to hear on this podcast. And I gave some options, but actually one thing got brought up in the group, and it was titled Ways to Encourage Clean Beauty Alternatives. That's very broad, but I saw that one of the artists in Washington wrote that, one of the girls on my team. And I started to think about what she meant and what I could talk about, but really there's so much and there's so many ways, but I just want to go over a few of them. And for me, encouraging other women to choose clean beauty as an alternative is really just about sharing my story. I have not sold to anybody. No one likes to be sold to. You have to lead by example. I have done this time and time again just by sharing my story. And if it doesn't inspire them, it will tweak the way that they're thinking. Their mind will have maybe it's just, oh, that's Obi. She says hi. It'll get them thinking. It'll get their mind working. And you have to establish yourself as an expert. That's what I've done with clean beauty. Yes, I have been a makeup artist for a very, very long time. And cleaner beauty is newer to me compared to maybe some hippies that live, in the woods and like where, they make their own creams and things like that. Like I am not that crazy when it comes to clean beauty. For me, it just means safer, better products, but that actually work. As a professional makeup artist, we need products that work. So the first way is to make sure you're wearing the products, right? Because I walk into almost any store, bank, whatever, what have you, and I always get comments on either my eyelashes, my lip color, my eyeshadow, my blush. You will never ever see me out of the house without makeup on my face. And it's not because I'm insecure. I am the farthest thing from that now. My close friends see me sometimes, but still, like, I have some of my best friends who are like, oh my God, what lip gloss is that? And it's a sale because at the end of the day, they want what looks good. And if it can look good on you, that's a really, really good way to start if you don't have all the facts. The second thing is to talk about alternatives. So I have done this through social media, just on like Pinterest and Instagram and stuff like that. If you go on my page on Cassandra McClure, you'll see that on there. But I literally just talk about, I used to use this product. Now I'm using this. It's a safe, clean alternative at a lower price point. Like, who can deny? And it works. You know, I'm a professional artist. My reputation is very important to me. It's kind of all I have. And so I would never steer someone the wrong way. If a product doesn't perform, you will not hear me boasting about it on here. You won't hear me bringing on, you know, somebody in the industry that has a new like beauty product that I don't believe in, that I don't like. That will never, ever happen because I'm going to stay true to what I have. And if if I'm in the bathroom with you at an event next week and I pull all these products out of my bag and you're like, wait, that's this brand, this brand, this brand, like what, I thought you were using clean stuff. Like, I would be a sellout. People would find out really fast that I'm not using what I'm saying I'm using. I stand behind the products that I use. It's like saying that you shop at a certain store, but like you really don't. I am not the fake it till you make it. I'm like, I lead by example, and that is really important. So wearing the product, representing it, and then offering cleaner solutions. A big thing that I'm hearing right now is, I know your clients might have been using a certain mascara for 20 years. I know my own mother is addicted to a foundation and a mascara that I've literally been buying her every Christmas since I was a teenager. The thing is, it's all about getting them to switch off of that. So an alternative, but an alternative solution that works, right? So this year for Christmas, you know, my mom is not getting the other mainstream brands that I usually get her. She is getting Beauty Counter because it's safer, it's better, and it works. And she's lucky she doesn't have cancer right now, but I never want her to. And I want her to try these products. If she really hates them and she really doesn't like them, then she can give them to me. But I've also found, this is like, I guess, tip number 4 or 5, because I don't have them written down, I'm just talking, sharing a story. So I have been sharing my story since day one. My story has impacted people's lives. And I think I touched on this in the very beginning, but it's more than just saying, oh, I use these products. It's how it's changed my life, how it's changed the way I feel about myself, not just when I put on the makeup, but when I go to throw that product away. I know the packaging is sustainable. I know that it's not harming the environment. I know that it's not creating waste. And offering options. So another thing that I have been doing, which all of my beauty tribe has already seen and all my friends and family, is I've been blogging. You can blog, you can vlog, but video is king right now, or queen, whatever you'd like to call it. And it's all about education and advocacy. So they're two different things, but they go hand in hand. And let's start with education. So as a professional artist, someone is going to your, let's say, Facebook, and they're like, okay, let me go on Rachel's page and I'm going to check out her latest video. Like, what are you saying? Do you even have a video? How long is it? Is it like 5 minutes? Do you have really good lighting? Are you showing some great products? Do you know what you're talking about? Because to educate them on a product that they probably didn't even know existed is huge. You know, going on Instagram and showing your yourself wearing the product, maybe holding the bottle, talking about it, tagging it in the photo, hashtagging, doing all the things, right? So education on whichever platform you're going to be on. If you're a Facebooker, stick to Facebook. If you're on Instagram, stick to Instagram. Where are your clients? Are they 20? Then they're probably on Instagram. Are they 40? Then they're probably on Facebook. So where is your target market? Are they young brides? They might be on Facebook and Instagram. Twitter, I wouldn't really say is the best place, but if you're a YouTuber, you know you're a YouTuber. You're uploading like every day, 3 times a week, whatever. You have a production crew. You're doing a whole different thing. But there is so much space in this that I really want to really just kind of stress. The space in the clean beauty world is immense. And there really is right now, you think about the beauty industry, you think about cosmetics, and it's a saturated industry. It's also like $1 billion industry. That's awesome. But if you think about just the clean part, it's very, very small. Think about how many celebrities there are, and then like the 3 or 4, like Gwyneth Paltrow and Jessica Alba and Taylor Swift, who've talked about it. Like that's 3, 4 people out of hundreds, thousands. So it's the same if you're an artist. There's kind of an unlimited amount of information you can give and money you can make in this space. There is so much room in this because no one's doing it. And that's why I am having so much success in my business right now, because I am doing something that no one else is doing. Whether it's because they're scared that the products don't work, that they're not giving it a chance, that whatever excuses it is, I've heard do you just sell Beauty Counter? That makes me laugh because I'm clearly I have to have a huge range of products in my kit to function as an artist. I cannot just have one line of products. I am not just selling one thing. I can spout 10 names off right now of products that I've used this week. I get clean beauty boxes sent to my house of like different things. I like Lily Lulu mascara. I love Base Body Care, body lotion and body scrub. Like I'm obsessed with it actually. I love the Innersense hair oil. Like there's so many that I use on my clients and that I use on myself. And literally I have testers in my purse at all times to share with everyone that I meet. If you are thinking about switching to clean beauty for the wrong reasons, then you're there for the wrong reason. If you're there to work in a company like Beauty Counter, because let's face it, in the beauty industry as an artist, there are not a lot of brands that give back to the artist when they sell the product. There's a few exclusions, but I'm talking about pro lines. I'm not talking about like Mary Kay. I'm talking about your Clinique, Estee, Kim Kardashian, whatever. Like I'm talking about anything at Sephora. If you walk into their store and you buy a product, not only do you pay full price, you leave, and if you refer that product to 100 or 1,000 or 1,000,000 people online or in person, you do not get 1 penny from that brand. Okay, we all know this. Yes, as a professional makeup artist, there are certain lines that will give you an artistry discount, but not a kickback. There's a huge difference between being an affiliate for a brand and a lifetime affiliate, if that. A lot of companies will be like, oh, here, use our code for 30 days. No, that's not going to work, right? You're a makeup artist. You're going to be using these things for a long, long time. You should be building your brand around whatever you're selling that you believe in. And like I said, don't push product that you don't love, because your customers are not going to love them either. So in the clean beauty space, there are next to none companies, next to zero, that give back, similar to the regular cosmetic industry. But I have found one that works. Beauty Counter is just amazing. Like when I found it, I cried. I have tried so many clean products. Lines like 100% pure, like they're great. There's nothing wrong with them, but the products don't last. Some of them don't last as long as I would like. Now, not saying that that means they don't work and that they're not good, but are they in alignment with me as an artist? Can I recommend them to a bride who is getting married in XYZ area, right? Probably not. And are they giving back? So there's so much space with Beauty Counter and with clean beauty brands who are emerging that are giving back to artists. Anything that gives you back in an affiliate or some sort of credit to promote their products, but wholeheartedly because you love them and you believe in them and they're doing good in the world, like it'll come back to you. You shouldn't really be focused on selling. I never have. I've never had to sell a thing in my life. Well, I worked at Nordstrom and I was trying to, you know what? No, even when I was selling clothes, I literally actually had some of the women who worked in Gucci and like the higher end lines that worked with me. And some of the clients would ask me like, oh, what do you think of the sweater? And I'm like, it's okay. And like the other women that work there, one of them like cornered me and made me cry and told me never talk to her client again, that I was wrong for telling her that something didn't look good on her. But I was thinking long term. I always have. I guess it came natural to me to want to tell someone if they look good or not. I didn't want to say, oh yeah, it looks so good on you. And then when she goes home, her mother, father, and boyfriend all tell her, no, that's horrible, right? She's going to go cry. She's never going to trust me again. She's going to come back into the store and avoid me like the plague. And I'm going to lose sales for the rest of my life. But that's not how some people think. So if you want to try to push an eyeliner that you hate or that doesn't work on your client, they're never going to come back and buy anything from you again. Or even, you'll maybe lose them as a client forever as an actual makeup client. So I've always started with honesty, because honesty is really, the baseline to a good business. You have to be honest. You can hear it in my voice. I could see my sound waves going all crazy, that I'm also very passionate. I'm very passionate. When I found out about clean beauty, when I found out about my health, when I found out about what was happening to me, I spoke out. I was at first I was a little angry. So I was like, I was name dropping some brands that, maybe weren't the cleanest. And I was saying this, they, ruined my skin, or they made me break out. But I don't do that anymore, because I was talking about education, but now I'm going to talk about advocacy. So when you're an advocate for something, you don't just say, oh, I'm with PETA and like, these are all the companies that are doing that. Maybe they do, but you don't really get anywhere by bashing someone else. It's the same thing in business. I've been screwed over more times than I can count. And I'm sure there's so many others out there, whatever your business you're in, you've had people screw you over, or you've been lied to. Actually, I was just at a convention in Vegas last week, and there's some thing called like Snap It Hot. Okay. I got this thing. I paid for it. I didn't realize how much I was paying for it. It was $50, but basically you put it on your back and it's a hot pad for like 2 hours. I was like, okay, like you snap it and then the thing makes it like inside gets really hot. He goes, you can reuse it for life. It's a lifetime warranty. You can use this. You can use it 1,000,000 times, blah, blah, blah. I used one for like 5 minutes and I was like, ooh, this is nice. You can make it cold. You can make it hot. And I was like, what's the catch? He's like, nothing. It's like, $49. So I was like, okay, I'm going to buy this because the normal hot pad that I use, I put in the microwave. It has like rice in it, but it keeps my shoulders hot or cold for like 15 minutes. And that's not really long enough. I like to like drink my tea, do my work. I want my back to have like the full effect. So I get home, I get really excited. I tell Nathan about this product and I try it. And I'm like, oh, when he gets home, he's going to try this, blah, 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 blah. And I asked the guy, I was like, so how do you reset it? Like after it gets hard and after it gets hot, like how do you reset it to get hot again? He goes, oh, you just run it under some hot water. Okay. He said, put it in some hot water. I got home and Nathan was like, "Oh, what is that thing?" And I was like, "Here, try it." And he's like, "Oh, it doesn't really do anything." And I was like, "Yeah, you got to like just run it under some hot water." It wasn't working. So I like got out the instructions. I found the manual and I was like, "Oh, you got to boil it. You got to like get hot water, boil it, put it in there." And this thing, by the way, is like on your shoulders. So it's huge. So you'd have to have a huge pot of boiling water. But then Nathan's like, "Wait, Cassandra, there's like chemicals in here. You're going to put it in the pot that we use to cook in? Like this is not clean. This is not sustainable." He is so cute. And I was like, "Oh my God, babe, you're right." And it's been sitting, I'm looking at it right now. It's been sitting here ever since. That's a great example. Like, no, I'm probably never going to see that guy again. I bought it in Vegas at a convention, whatever. But now, if I ever saw that brand name again, I'm going to tell 10 times more friends than I was if I really loved it. Because look, I'm telling you guys right now that you have to be an advocate for your product. The guy sold it to me. He was passionate about the product, but I remember when I look back now and I put that whole scene into motion about our conversation and the sale. When I asked about how you reactivate it, he just was like, "Oh, hot water, blah blah blah," and he just like went over the subject. But I didn't question it because I already knew, liked, and trusted him. But if you do that to a client, it doesn't matter if you're on stage somewhere or you are on an ad or you are in a commercial or you are at your best friend's house. If you lie to that person, you have forever scarred them and you have forever lost their trust. And if they ever see you again, you better watch out. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, you have to be an advocate for what you believe in. And if you truly do, you should stand behind your products and you should tell them, "Hey, this product is amazing. This is the catch. You have to get a big pot of boiling water. You have to leave it in there for 30 minutes. It'll get soft again." And I would have been like, "Oh, hell no. I don't have time for that. I don't have a pot big enough for that. I didn't know it was going to get rock solid." All these things, right? But you have to be honest and upfront about what the product does, how it performs, how you can dispose of it, and what it entails and how long it really lasts, right? I'm not going to walk around saying that this concealer lasts 25 hours if it doesn't. I would never do that because it's not the truth, And it comes back to your reputation. What do you want to be known for? Do you want to be known as the expert or the person who told the truth about a product and then they bought it because they knew, liked, and trusted you, right? So I guess that's kind of all I have to say about that. Talking about the health issues of the products that they're using. I've been down the road of saying, "Oh, this product is," I kind of bashed their product a little bit. I was like, "Oh, that's super toxic," right? Toxic is like technically not even the right term you're supposed to be using. I just talk about the positives. Well, you could use that. And, here's an app you can use, EWG. It stands for Environmental Working Group. It's an app you can go on and you can check your products. See for yourself if it's really safe enough for you and your maybe child's use, right? And then I say, I have these really clean products that are certified B Corp that are the healthiest that I know of. And they're super safe. You can use them when you're pregnant. You can use them, if you have cancer. We've taken these products into hospitals. They are that safe, but they also perform. As a professional makeup artist, this is my opinion. You leave them with the option. You leave them with some knowledge. You leave them with something to think about. This will get them back to you every single time. They will come back to you when they have a question or when they have, a rebuttal when their husband, when they go home. We all have someone in our lives where we go home, we're excited, we talk to our husband or our mom, and then they're like, "Oh, but that doesn't make sense because this is this." Like I openly accept and invite those kinds of conversations when someone's like, "Oh, my fiance, he has questions about this," because I know that means someone in their life cares. So I'm going to answer their question as best as I can. And if I can't, I'll say, "I'll come back to you. Let me send you an article. Let me do this, that, the other thing." The other part of this, if let's say your new bride is into the presidency. Let's not try to get like too crazy with politics, but there is a political issue regarding beauty products in the cosmetic industry. In the United States, there hasn't been a federal law passed since 1938. It's a huge issue. There's like a lot of stuff around this that's just kind of it's a very gray area. If you can provide your clients with a few facts, if you can do a little research, if you can not only tell them in person, but back that up with written evidence, posting on your page. Like, you can go on my Instagram right now and see that I do this. I provide facts. Every once in a while, I'll just provide a fact. I will provide a statistic, a stat, something that they're like, oh yeah, she's the expert. She is the one that I'm going to go to when I have questions. Oh yeah, this has to be true. And a lot of times people are going to not just trust you right away, especially if they're on your page for the first time. And people are going to watch you, and you have to understand that what you post today will be seen a year from now. I wasn't always the best with this. I would just post whatever. I wouldn't like do the right spelling. And, I wasn't always 100% on my facts, but now I make sure that if someone looks up whatever I post, that it's backed up by like a lot of scientific proof and evidence. And I might even provide a link to that in the text or link in the article that I'm writing, whether it's on my blog or on Facebook or something. So back to ways to encourage clean beauty alternatives. It's more than a movement. It is a movement. It's more than a trend, I should say. There's maybe a lot of people out there who, let's say you're with an MLM company. I know Rachel is. If you are with another MLM or some sort of sales, or you're known in your, circle to be salesy or whatever, like, you should probably drop all of that, and you shouldn't cross promote working for a dirty brand and a clean brand. I discovered this really quickly in about 3 months working with Beauty Counter, that I was trying to please everybody. And I was like, oh yeah, like, I'll still totally take on like anyone who wants to use all the toxic stuff. But then I started thinking about it, and I'm like, oh my God, like, my eyes are itchy and watery and red. And I'm super sensitive to the smell of the hairspray that artist is spraying and all of that. And I realized that certain people are okay with using crap, with using, unclean products, but I'm not. It's literally affected my health. It's part of my story. So if that's not you, maybe it'll be you in 5 years, maybe 10, maybe something will happen to one of your family or friends, and it'll make you decide then. Maybe you're not ready right now to like fully commit, but I'm not going to say when I switched to clean beauty that it was a full on switch. Like, overnight, I threw out every single thing. I was actually okay with like a 4 or 5 rating on Think Dirty. I wasn't looking at if the company was exactly sustainable 100% or clean and all of that. I was just I was like, you know what? I need to use cleaner products. Now I'm offering cleaner products to my clients. And so if you think about it, it's like anyone who found out about clean beauty, of course they want to switch, but they're not going to throw away $1,000 worth of product and just switch automatically that day. But it's really hard to market to being clean and then opening up your kit and having all of these unclean products with coal tar and BHA and formaldehyde in them, right? It doesn't make sense. And for me, going to a job, literally my clients would be like, are you okay? Is everything okay? Because my eyes would start watering. I would start sneezing like no other. And it was because the artist next to me was using so-and-so hairspray, and it was driving my sinuses insane because I'm allergic. And so I was like, you know what? I have to go fully clean. Like, the people that I work with, that I'm going to work on from here on out, they have to know, like, and trust me, and also maybe have an allergy of their own, whether it's gluten, a sensitivity or whatever, but like believe in what I'm doing and want me because I offer clean products, not because I offer them an option, but because I'm providing them the best clean makeup and skincare and hair care products available right now to professional artists. And that's what I do. That is my specialty. That is my passion. That is my purpose. I do not want to be responsible for my client contracting something, whether it's a year from now, a day from now, or 10 years from now. Like, I follow all my clients on social media. I watch all of them online. I watch everybody. And to think that one day I might see one of them, post about having breast cancer, that scares the bejesus out of me. To think that I would question, I wonder if what I used on her that day has something to do with it. It's sad, because why would I want that? I'm trying to make women feel beautiful. I create a beautiful, peaceful experience and environment for these women, and I want them to remember that and honor me, and I want to honor them, and I want them to live a clean, healthy life. Like, I don't want them to just wear crap makeup for a day and then deal with their allergies later that night or whatever. Like, I have horror stories. I'm not going to get into that. But I've implemented things that are setting me apart as a leader in a niche space. So it's not really about encouraging others. I mean, I just gave you a lot of tips on ways to encourage others, but it's leading by example. I am truly setting myself apart, educating, raising awareness, and doing all of this with a true heart. And that's kind of that. Let me just skim through and make sure I didn't forget anything. I have chicken scratch handwriting, so I just kind of like bolted down some stuff. Did I mention offering solutions? Yeah, basically solutions, options, whatever. Like, I kind of give them, like, they're like, oh, but I like love this so much, and I'm like, well, this is a great option. Okay, so this is one other thing that if you're in the beauty industry and you're working with a lot of women, if they're much older, like, and they don't care, like my mom, she's like, she's probably gonna be that way, and I have to accept that. But for a bride or anyone young, they are so aware of what they're doing. They're in tune with what's going on in the world. We start to feel bad about what's going on with, you can kind of feel guilty about like recycling and things like that, right? Like, sometimes you'll feel like guilty for throwing something away. It's the same thing with beauty. Like, I feel like we're so aware now of like what we're doing to our planet. We see these videos and these, like, you'll see the like horrible photos or images of like fish getting caught up in like the plastic things. You don't see those anymore, do you, at the store? You don't see those little Coca-Cola, like the 6-pack things. You don't really see them a lot because it has impacted the way that we buy. And so what's happening right now is the younger generations are like super aware of what's going on. Like, they're like, oh, organic, natural, clean. Like, they're going towards all this wording, and they want to do what's good because like they see the older generation, our parents, our mothers, our grandmothers dying of horrible cancers. You don't see, like, it is not cool to smoke, right? Because 10 years ago, 20 years ago, it was cool. It was a trend. It was a fad. But now you don't really see that. Okay, my brother's guilty of this, like picking up the vape pen type thing. But for the most part, smart people are not doing that because they're like, what are the long-term health risks? What are the benefits of this, right? Which are like slim to none. A lot things that are unknown right now are nobody wants to mess with that because we all know what's going in our food. Everyone knows what GMO is. It's like, if you're into beauty, if you're into fashion, you're also thinking about the terms in those specific realms. Is it fair trade certified? Is it organic, right? You start to hear things and see certain labels and you're like, oh my gosh, does this makeup cruelty free? It's all important. It's important, right? And so this is all about attracting and keeping your ideal client for generations to come. If you're influencing and capturing leads, whatever, from a bride and her bridal party. If the bride is like that, 9 times out of 10, her friends are also very similar in terms of like their morals, values, and all of that stuff. If a bride is like really passionate about like saving animals and animal cruelty and like all of that sort of thing, you bet your butt a lot of her friends feel the same way, or maybe they're not friends, right? So think about ways to attract them. So you want to talk about being clean and how clean is healthy and how the long term your skin can actually be better. I right now I'm not even really doing it because I've been doing a lot of research, but I'm finding this to be true, that clean beauty actually creates beauty longer. It's like a lot of the clean products have skin beneficial ingredients that'll actually like make you look younger. Like, it's crazy. The regular makeup that's out there has all these cheap fillers and things you can't pronounce. And those are aging your skin, and they're actually very addicting. I don't know. I'm sure you've been in the situation where you're like using a new product, like a new lip balm or something, but as soon as you're not wearing it, your lips are super dry. And why do you think that is? They want you to keep, it's manufactured to make you keep going back to that lip balm, making you psychologically think that it's actually helping when it's really, that's the problem. So when you do that and you're providing this knowledge and you're dropping knowledge on them, whether it's in person, over the air, on video, there's so many ways to reach clients for free nowadays that, women in general, that you can't not make money. You can't not rise to the top when you're doing something like this, because it really is the way of the future. I'm really honest with my affiliation with Beauty Counter, and I also let the clients know that I'm affiliated with a dozen other brands. And I am. I have affiliate links. I don't get every single sale ever, but I do make a residual income off of my links and things like that. But I don't hide it. I don't go around spouting that I'm a consultant either, because I feel like I'm way more than a consultant in so many ways. I'm a mentor. I'm a professional artist. Like, I kind of know what I'm talking about. I'm not just someone who picked up, who bought like a starter set and said all of a sudden that I'm like this makeup expert, because I've been in this business for a long time. And as a makeup artist, you should also be establishing yourself as the expert, as someone who knows what they're talking about, and you're credible in this industry. Another thing that you can also talk about is the Certified B Corp. I touched on a little earlier, but it's really about sustainability. It's like People, Planet, Profit. They're like a nonprofit, and Beauty Counter is one of the few nonprofits that are actually helping women and giving back. They are activists, like I said, in like in Washington, D.C., and they are really trying to move the needle with laws and things like that. They helped pass a law recently in like Colorado. And People, Profit. So they're really transparent with their pricing, with what they're doing, what's in everything. And one other thing that I will mention, which I find to be very, very interesting, because so many clients are like, oh, well, I use this. It's organic. I got this from like Whole Foods. And I'm like, oh, okay. They're like, oh yeah, like, but it's safe. It's natural, whatever. Not all things that are natural are safe, okay? Just because there's a lot of things that you can think of right now that are natural that aren't necessarily something you want to put on your body. And it might be rated like a 3 or 4 or 5 in the Think Dirty app or on the EWG app. And it's vetted, and it has all these certifications on the packaging. But what a lot of people aren't realizing is that the companies aren't putting the ingredients through like several tests. They're just saying, oh, this one ingredient's good. It's going in, and it's like they never go back and test it again. You can research this. Beauty Counter with every single product they put out, like they're testing it like several times before it hits market, so that every single one has like, there's no levels of like any of the bad crap in there. It's clean. Another thing that I wanted to touch on that you can talk about when it comes to advocacy is like, if someone tries to bash like Beauty Counter or Clean Beauty, you have when it comes to like ingredients. So let's say that they were like, oh, mica, right? We all know like mica is like a thing, and it's an ingredient that's in a lot of powders and stuff. And a lot of people will be like, oh, that's such a bad ingredient, and Beauty Counter uses it, right? Or let's say they did. But you could say, well, some are sourced ethically and are clean, and some are not. And there's a difference. Some mica or, certain things were milled or mined and it's kind of like diamonds. Like there's good diamonds and then there's blood diamonds. And it's, and no one has the time to kind of go through with a fine tooth comb every single product in each package or company that they're using, right? That's our job. We're telling them what's safe. We're telling them what is fair trade and certified organic and natural and truly clean. And there isn't very many, and that's why we work with Beauty Counter. And I think that's pretty much it. I wanted to keep this pretty short and concise. A few other ways this is kind of outside of ways to encourage, but it's all about follow-up. And I think consistency is key with anything you do in your life. It doesn't matter if you want to start a podcast or write a book. You need to, and how that would translate into a relationship with a client is follow-up. Like, when is their birthday? Send them something. Send them a little sample. When is their anniversary? Send them a little note and tell them that, here's an article, or here's something I wrote up on, a certain skin cream that I found that like you might really love. Or, not everybody hates getting discounts in the mail, or a 50% off coupon or a holiday sale. I'm kind of always letting people know what's going on in my stories on Instagram with email marketing. I think that it takes, right now in the day and age we live in, sometimes it takes 10 or 20 times for you to see a certain product before you're like, I think I need that. And, you can't get frustrated and give up just because someone bashed you. And I want to end this with the story of what happened to me and a friend who came to visit. And one of Nathan's buddies from school came. He's married to this amazing, wonderful, beautiful woman who is super pregnant, and she came in and flew in to see us for the weekend. And the first night at dinner, we were chatting, and I was, of course, talking about clean beauty, and we were talking about makeup. I was asking her what she was wearing, and she pulled out a couple products, and I was like, oh, okay, well, this is what can happen. You're pregnant, and this is a, considered toxic, and I would recommend something a little cleaner. And she's like, oh, because you sell Beauty Counter. And at first I took offense, but right away I was like, I'm going to educate this woman until she turns blue in the face. And I advocated to her for about an hour, and I had the whole table focused on me, my fiance included, because he's always learning, and he's mesmerized with how much information that I've been learning and sharing. And I think when you learn something, you want to share it right away, because it helps to keep it into your mind if it's something that you really truly believe in. And his friend was also listening, like, intently. And I was just sharing with her, literally, like, the education. I told her about the federal regulations. I told her a few facts, and I told her about the Think Dirty app. She was like, yeah, I heard you talk about it before on Instagram. I saw it. But, and I was like, wow, she didn't download it. She doesn't trust me. She thinks I'm just like a rep, like a sales rep or something. And I was like, wow, I felt defeated. I was like, how many other people are looking at me like this right now? And I felt like, and then she was like, oh, I'm getting tired. I want to go home. And I was like, oh man, I just like totally killed this. Like she hates me, and I was thinking, she didn't want to hear that. Now she's like, she wants to use whatever she wants. this is her choice and she has that right. So I was like, like it's still really pretty lipstick. Like I love it, whatever, but it's, these are the alternatives. Maybe when you run out, you can use this. And so I actually recommended her like 2 or 3 other products. And I pulled a couple things out of my purse that I had. And she's like, oh, you don't just use Beauty Counter? And I was like, no, I'm a makeup artist. I can't just use one thing. Like some things work better than others. And, not every line is perfect in every way. Like think about any brand that you've ever worked with. Like you don't just go buy one line of products from, and if anyone's doing that, like, you got to be suspicious. And I think that that's where that came from, is like someone else was telling her that they needed to buy everything in the line that they're working for. And it's another, direct sales, multi-level marketing company. And it freaks people out. I've had it happen to me. I get 3 to 8 Instagram DMs a day from different people working for the same MLMs who are trying to sell me on whatever product or to get me to be an affiliate or a marketing person with them. Back to the story. So I went home, I felt defeated, and I felt like, oh man, like the rest of the week's going to be kind of awkward because this girl just doesn't trust me. She just thinks I'm trying to sell her stuff. So she went home and I was like laying in bed and I was like, let me just send her the link just in case like she ever wants to download it, because I literally am not making any, like this is not a salesy thing. I'm just going to send her something. So if she decides later on she wants to look into it, she can. She was literally texting me and she texted me at the exact same time. And she's like, oh my God, I just checked all my products that I brought with me. I can't believe they're all harmful. Can you give me some recommendations? And I was like, oh my God. Like I started tearing up because I was like, oh my God, this is why I do what I do. Like all I did was share some information and I let her make her own decision. I did not force anything. I was not, bashing her stuff. I was just saying, hey, this is what's available. This is what the statistics say. This is what the numbers say. This is what's available, and then she went. And so later the next day we chatted and I gave her samples of like different stuff, different brands. Like it wasn't one certain thing. I told her all the things that I'm loving right now. And then she was like, she knows me, she likes me, but that was like the trust, right? She started trusting me and she's like, okay, can you send me an email with a follow-up of all the stuff you've been telling me? And I was like, yeah, of course. Like I have that on lock. So I sent her that and I got an email 4 days later that she purchased like $300 in product. I am not joking. This is not made up. This happened 2 weeks ago. And like, I make a small percentage. Like, I mean, it's big compared to like other brands, like yes, but in terms of what I'm making, it's not my bread and butter. I do not make a living off of working with Beauty Counter. Maybe one day I will, but I pay for all my product, and that's what's important to me. Like with my sales, I buy more product and educate and go and do events and share with my artists and give them to the family and friends that I love. Like literally, I have not spent one dime from anything that I made from Beauty Counter. It all goes back into the business because I believe in their company. I believe in Greg, the founder. She's a female CEO. I love that. She is amazing, and she's a mother, and she, created this brand because there was nothing in the market like that. So don't give up. Don't be, you can persuade someone, but you can only like lead the horse to water. You can't like make them drink. And I think it's really important to remember that you might think that no one was listening, but everyone is. And they are listening to you because you're the expert. And you just have to stick to your guns and stick to what you believe in and tell them about the sustainable packaging and tell them about water conservation efforts that we're doing and the carbon offsets, like everything that we're doing, and that we don't test on animals, and we don't test on animals in other countries, and we never, ever, ever will. And most of the brands out there, the 7 major leaders, everyone knows them: Coty, Johnson & Johnson, L'Oreal, Procter & Gamble. Under Johnson & Johnson, there's Neutrogena, Johnson's, Aveeno, Rock, like all those big brands that we all know. There's like 100 between these 7 major leaders. Many of them, people don't realize this, are tested over in China. The products are tested on animals over there, okay? Just because it says cruelty-free in the US does not mean that it isn't over there. So that is something that we don't mess around with. And we are B Corp certified, and we are all about the community, the workers, the governments, the environment, and the customers. And you just have to go back to the basics and talk about, whatever's important to that person, you can tie it in and make it work. So thank you so much for listening. This was, as you can tell, a very passionate thing that I wanted to touch on. And I'm so glad you guys gave me the idea to even talk about this, because I don't think I would have unless I saw you guys talk about it in the Clean Beauty Tribe group. So thank you. And I hope you all have a wonderful, fantastic day or evening. And I'll talk to you soon. All right. So that's it for this week's episode on the Clean Beauty Podcast. Thanks for tuning in. And don't forget to head over to iTunes to review, rate, and subscribe to the channel. Until next week, stay beautiful.